Hi, this is Tanya from Love Buddha Tarot, back with the monthly forecasts for 18, the last ones of the year. And what a crazy year it's been, but we've all got through it and we're all here, hopefully wiser and a little bit happier. So just before I start these readings, I just want to say that these readings are for sun, moon and rising signs. These are general readings. The only way I can guarantee a personal reading to you is if I connect with you. Okay, so the only way it will be a personal reading is if it's just me and you kind of thing. I just want to say as well an absolutely huge thank you, like from the bottom of my heart, to all of you. This year has been a bit crazy because of all of the moves and everything like that. I haven't been able to do as much as I would like to, although there are new things in the pipeline for the coming year. But like I say, things have been sporadic, moving to the island, the internet connection on the island, all of the computer problems and things like that. And thank you for sticking through that. Okay, I really do appreciate it. And all of the messages of thanks, the messages of good luck and everything. Thank you so much for your support throughout this year. If anybody does want any readings, then please book. They are booking for the coming year as well. There's not just me on the site now. There's a range of other girls who are absolutely amazing. They're all people who I actually use personally. And that is why, I chose them. And that is why I'm very grateful that they have decided to work alongside me as well. The Christmas time is a hard time for a lot of people. It brings back a lot of memories. But the best way I always feel to feel good is when you're given from the heart. There's a charity that's struck me and is very close to my heart as well, and it's called Choose.love. What they do is you can buy in the shop. The shop is online as well as in London and New York. And what you can do is you can buy something for a refugee. Prices start at €3, so you don't have to break the bank. And what I've done with my loved ones this year is ask them if they can sacrifice a gift that they were going to buy me, or a gift that I was going to buy them, to donate to this. And they've all said yes, so I'm over the moon with that. But just if anybody does want to give something back, you don't have to, there's no pressure. But any donations that are made to the site between now and the 31st of May will all be going straight to the Choose.love site as well, because I feel it's massive. We are all, I know at times we struggle and we don't think we have everything we want, but when we look at it, we all have everything we need. We have a blanket, we have a bed to go to, we have a roof over our heads, we have people there that can listen, we have internet connection, and things like that. And these are all little things that I think we should all be grateful for. And Christmas is a time of giving and receiving, and I think if we can do that from the heart as well, that really makes a difference. So that's it. That's a Christmas message. Although I will be on for Christmas. I will be. You will be seeing me before the new year as well. But I will put the link below, and it's Choose.love, and I just think it's fantastic. Or give something to the charity of your choice as well. So have an absolutely fabulous. Have a Merry Christmas, happy always, and I'm sending lots of love. Here are your readings. Hi Libra. Right, Libra, I'm going to go with the spirit messages, what is coming in first, the spirit and psychic messages for you, and then I'll start your reading. Right, firstly, as soon as I started to tune into you, I got the old nursery rhyme, Lucy Locket lost her pocket. Wish I found it, not a penny was there in it, only ribbon round it. So this was, I think this is saying that it's almost like having nothing here, okay? A feeling like you have nothing, but then they showed a blackboard, like you're not allowed to call them blackboards now, are you? But it's a chalkboard, and it was almost like wiping it. When you used to be at school and they used to wipe it off, so whatever was there just suddenly disappears. And I feel what they're saying here is, it's almost like maybe feeling like you have lost something, but all that has happened has given you kind of a clean slate, or like I say, you could have everything wrote on this chalkboard, but then when you wipe it off, it's new again. So then you can start again, and then you can, you can write whatever you want on it. So there's this feeling I feel coming into this year. There could be a lot of, coming into this month, sorry. I feel there's a lot of thoughts around you, a lot of thinking of yesteryear. I don't know if there could be regrets, coulda, woulda, shoulda, all kind of stuff like that. But there seems to be quite a heavy feeling coming around you, Libra, and it's almost like I feel there's words that need to be said. It's almost like you're going through a lot of things within your head, but you're locking them inside. You're keeping them inside here, and it's almost like you've been writing a journal, a diary, your thoughts in your head. And now they're saying they want to get out, they want to get out. You've got to let them out, because when you let them out, this is when they will clear space. So it's kind of, there's a space clearing, or a clearing of space, okay? And I feel that there's almost a worry in doing this, but then when I'm seeing it, it's almost like that worry will be lifted as well. So you will be lifted as well, they're saying, your spirits will lift. Yeah, your spirits will lift. And it's a feeling of, or a fear of having nothing, okay? Feeling maybe a little bit like you are inadequate. What have I got to offer? What have I got to offer a potential partner? What have I got to offer a current partner? What have I got to offer the world? What is the purpose? This is it. And a real sort of down feeling about yourself, I feel. But what they're saying here is, if you do feel like you've lost everything, then that is when you are truly free. They say it in Fight Club, isn't it? It's only when you lose everything that you actually become free, that this is it. And we have all of this onus on things and stuff and ownership and everything like that. But what does it really mean? I mean, look at it, it's Christmas time now. How many people will be running out and buying tat, buying absolute rubbish just so it looks like there's more presents there, spending hard-earned money on stuff that's going to be put in a drawer or whatever. That stuff does not make you happy. Buying presents for people does not prove how much you love them. Christmas is about presents, not presents. And, there's this, I mean, Christmas time is a funny time for a lot of people, so I really feel this is coming in strongly for you. And it's almost like maybe even going back to childhood, I feel, something from childhood where there's a trigger and it's coming. So it's almost like go back and revisit where this thought pattern came from, where this need to keep everything to yourself came from. And, once you tackle that, once you get through that, then, this is when you're free, and you're free to express yourself properly, rather than keeping everything in your head, because when it keeps in your head, it just ends up going, it goes all over. So there's a real release in here, okay? And I really feel as well, there's if you meditate. If you don't, start, okay? What is it they say? If everyone should meditate for minutes a day, and if you haven't got minutes, then do it for me. Because this is it. Often we get caught up in these busy lives, busy lies as well, they're saying, and it's all going on. It's all swimming around. But what they're saying is, it's almost like getting that chalkboard and wiping it clean, I mean, when I'm doing that there, it's almost like waving bye-bye to it, that's it. It's like, it's au revoir, farewell, farewell to that, farewell to the old way of being, because this is what we're being called to. We're being called to move. Everything we have experienced from the day we were born has been a learning curve for us. Every experience has been teaching us something. And like I say, it's going to move on. We, some of us enjoyed school. I didn't. But some of us did, but that ends. We don't stay in the same class. We don't have the same friends. We don't have all of that. So things change and we progress and we learn along the way. And this is what life is. So like I say, if things have gone from your life, that's only to clear this space so that more can come into it and you can experience more, if that makes sense. So yeah, big changes, change. Almost in the middle of transformation here. This is what I feel here, Libra. So right, that was what was coming in spirit wise. There's Hendrix just decided to wake up there. And I'm going to go into your tarot now and see what your tarot have to say. So yeah, the first thing with this is I really feel like, I say, God, there's so many changes coming through here. And it's almost like I'm seeing here, you have changed. This is it. It's almost like your ideas of success, your ideas of what you want out of life, your ideas of what would make you happy have changed, and it's almost like whatever you have set your goals towards and maybe even got them, now it's kind of like, I didn't get the fulfillment that I thought I was going to get with that, and this is what life is about: feeling fulfilled, feeling content, feeling happy, feeling, and we can get that. Some of the happiest people I've ever met are the people with nothing, and Osho talks about it, and he talks about its no thingness, and it's this state of pure potential, rather than this state of lack. I mean, if we think it's, before the earth was made, there was this it was blackness, and then there was this big bang, and this is like what they showed me with this chalkboard. But it's almost like, because you've changed here, there's something that maybe you were striving for, that you were working towards, or whatever, that you thought was going to bring you this, going to be the sunshine in your life, going to be this, this positive thing at the end, now it's kind of lost its sparkle a bit, and it's kind of, what? Like going for, Michelin star restaurant and having a meal and kind of thinking, what, I'm still hungry. It was okay, but I've had better food off the street vendors. I mean, I traveled Thailand for a bit, and some of the food that I got off the street vendors, it was like pence, for a bowl of it, was better than something I paid £1 for. So this is it. It's almost like, that whatever you have been reaching for, your goal, it's now kind of lost its luster. Lackluster, I don't know what lackluster means, but it's lost its luster. So now you're a little bit in the dark. This is what is coming in, and it's kind of like, right, okay, so what do I do now? Where do I go now? What do I do? Because when we're working towards something for that long, and it's been a part of our life for that long, then when it's not there, it's like, right, okay, which direction do I go now? So this is making sense with the messages that were coming in, and this feeling of I have nothing. But when you have nothing, if we think of the fool in tarot, all he has with him is his little backpack and his little dog, and he sets off on this life. He doesn't know where he's going, but he takes that risk. He steps off that cliff, and he has experiences and experiences and experiences. Some are good, some are bad, but he learns. And that is the beauty of the fool's journey, which is what all of us are on. So there is this fear of what is to come, but it's almost like you need to, your way is being lightened somewhere. It's almost like I'm seeing headlights, or when you're people at the airports and they have them orange sticks, and sometimes the police have them and stuff like that. Direction, yeah, you're going to be shown directions, so you're not in the dark, you're being given direction, right? Okay. So then what's coming in here is, I do feel this, oh God, shoulders and everything are really, really getting tense there. There is something from the past coming up, and with this there is disappointment, there's disillusionment, there's sorrow, there's dark thoughts, there's something. This is to do with your past, and I feel this could be to do with past family life, childhood, right? Childhood, okay. And it's almost like looking at it, when we become adults, we can look back on experiences and see them how they really were rather than how we thought we were. I mean, most of us, if we're lucky enough, we had healthy, happy childhoods. But a lot of times, they were unhealthy in different ways, and this was old patterns and old cycles, that were carried on through generation and generation. And we begin to see that as truth, and then we take it on within our own life, and then we carry on the story. Now, this, I feel here, it's almost like this is where the story ends, and you have to go back at it and look at it from an objective point of view, because there is the truth. There is the truth of what was there. They're saying here. This is quite interesting. In the summer, I had a breakthrough. I don't know. It was this crazy 8 hours during the eclipse, and I started getting all of these messages. Like literally, it was bombarded, and then I was kind of short circuited. But what it showed me is a lot of the beliefs around childhood that I had believed, and I'd lived them, and I'd heard other people talk about them, and all of that, were actually just one side of the story. And I realized that I had been blaming a certain thing that happened within childhood for things that have happened within adulthood. When I got this kind of awakening, this slap in the face, it showed me it from a completely different angle. And I realized that story that I had told myself and others for a lot of years was not true. There was no truth in it. It was one side of it, And once I realized that, I was able to make peace with the past, peace with the people involved in the past. And I just apologized. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry, And they said, we never thought you felt like this. And I said, yeah, but I did. And I'm apologizing for the thoughts that I projected rather than actually what I'd done or said about it, And that was a huge healing. Huge healing. Things are very, very different now, but it took 5 years for me to actually realize, whoa, that wasn't the truth. It was somebody's version of the truth. It was my version of the truth, although I was too young to see it. But what this is saying is, it's almost looking at the truth. And I feel this is something to do with family, with childhood. It's like a family home. It's something like that. And it's starting to unravel, okay? Nothing like Christmas is there to get all this family stuff coming up. So I'm sorry for this, but this is what it's saying. And yeah, it's almost like it's starting to unravel now. Now, when we unravel, what happens is this big mess, not mass, right? Okay, they said you got that wrong. This big mess starts to unwind, and then you can see all of the different parts to it. Oh God, I just wished I had a camera in my head where I could just project to you what they're showing to me here. So this is starting to unravel the mess, okay, and see what led to this, because there was a lot of different things led to it. I hope this is making sense. And it's almost like giving you a window of opportunity. So this sadness, this regret, this whatever, it's kind of saying to you, this is time to move on. This is time to stop this sadness, stop any regret, stop any guilt or anything like that. One of my dear friends here says the guilt is the closest, the furthest away we can get from God. And I totally believe that, because it's an emotion that we don't feel, and a lot of we don't learn anything from. Sorry, the Tibetans don't even have a word for it. And a lot of times within our childhood, we could be made to feel guilty for things as well, So it's something that we learn, and we've been carrying it around for us. And I feel like it's almost here. I'm almost like it's as if genes are worn out here. And right, okay, geez, right. That's kind of sorry about that. Yeah, when they're saying they're showing me like hands rubbing on genes with stress, with anxiousness. But what they're saying is the genes are worn out. Genes as in GENE. So that's out. It's a worn out way of being. It's a worn out kind of thought pattern. It's an old, bring it into the new. And I think this is why it's all this wipe and this slate clean. So there's a lot going on. I've only done 2 lots of your cards here, Libra, so I'm so sorry. This is going to be a bit of a heavy one, I think. But what they're saying is once this all falls away, it's kind of like, right, what do I do now? But what they're saying is you now stop struggling and you now sort of head towards solidity and stability. Okay, but this is your solidity and your stability. Okay, this is it. It's almost like, get that fire burning, within your gut, because once you've seen the truth will set you free. This is what they're saying. And this is almost like, this is lovely, because it's saying, take your heart back to your teenage years, or to when you start to learn about love and emotions, and start to learn again. Okay, this is it. There's a new way to do it, a way that won't be a struggle, a way that won't have this heaviness around it as well. And this is when your heart will open. This is when you can start planning. This is when you can start feeling as well, and really getting in touch with your emotions. And wow, these cards are amazing. Really getting in touch with your emotions, and and realizing what is it you love to do. What is love really? That is a term here. And when I'm saying, I'm not just saying romantic love, I'm saying, like within families and everything like that, with this breakthrough down, whatever. I realized that there was so much love within family, but it was crazy love. It was fucked up crazy love that, that is not, now that I know what love is, it's not that, it didn't put into it, but that had gone down through generations after generations. And this is saying why this is happening to you. The Spirit are showing you this is because there's huge changes coming for you, and it's coming into your time. And this is beautiful. And it's almost like your eyes are wide open now, and you no longer believe what was told, you see through the lies, kind of thing, and I don't think the lies were told in a bad way. It's just that's, what people believed. And this is it. It's almost like, suddenly, like revelations, and these revelations will lead to like jubilations, kind of thing. They will lead you to start to look to the future with a completely different mindset, really feeling that passion, that power, that everything like that within you, feeling that high energy, what you have, rather than this low energy of like, woof, which it seems to be around you now. This is like, this is trusting in spirit, and it's almost like, wow, when I'm seeing this, it's almost like your target is going to come in sight. When I was saying which direction, it's almost like you're going to see this. And I feel that there's this like, you have to sacrifice something here as well. But I don't want you to be a martyr or anything with this. It's almost like, what? This is a part of my journey, and I need to go. You realize that all this stuff and the shiny stuff and all of that, is just stuff. It means nothing. It's soulless, okay? And this is like going in search of your soul, where you have held back, where you have been held back as well. It's almost like them doors are opening, and it's like, like the horses, it's almost like you've been chomping at the bit, but beating yourself up while you're doing it. Whereas this, it's almost like, there you go, this is the lesson. You've past it, okay? But there is something here as well, where it's almost like somebody's wanting to hide this. It's they're wanting to take all this and hide it, and it's like, no, don't say anything. No, that didn't happen, and paper over the cracks, which happens a lot within families. And this is the problem. This is a huge problem within them, because, like I say, there's communication massively needed here. If somebody's not prepared to communicate because they don't want to see the truth, or they don't want to sort of acknowledge the truth, then that is fine, but don't let that stop you communicating what you need to communicate, because there is a healing needed here, a massive, massive healing. And this is about the emotions as well, where emotions have been broken, where there's still hurts, where there's still resentments, where anything like that. This is time to wash yourself clean from these, because it's kept you blocked for too long, and it's almost like you've been rigid. I mean, again, I'm looking at my back here, and it feels like it's going to snap, because I feel that sort of, it's almost like there's a broom shank down the back of my back, so I've got to stand up and strong and stuff like that. But this is saying, you know what, you kind of make this up. I said that about the broom shank, and then the next card that I pulled was that the ten of wands. So yeah, this is it. It's getting too heavy for you to carry around, and this is what I feel you've got to dump. So yes, it might be a bit odd, because it's almost like you've been that used to carrying this weight that when it's gone, it's kind of like, all right, okay, this does this feel right? Is this right? There's something missing. What is missing is the mess, okay? Because this is time to clear it up. This is time to clear you up. This is time for you to take that leap of faith, Like I said, the fool, he has nothing, but he is going on this adventure, and his number is 0. He's starting again, like this the chalkboard that I seen at the beginning. It's wiping the slate clean here, And that is when there could be travel linked with this, but this is what real success is. Actually figuring all this out and figuring yourself out as well, and saying, you know what, I've come through this. Yes, I have work to do, but I can do it. I don't want this anxiousness anymore. I don't want this sort of like this passing the past. It's almost like passing the parcel they're showing me there. But it's passing the past. I don't want to pass this on, right? Okay, I don't want to pass this on. I want to pass on it, not pass it on. Okay, so this is as well. If this is making sense to some of you, then this could be you don't want to pass it on to your children. I mean, I love Mum dearly, but there are so things that I haven't done with my daughter that my mother done with me, because I realised how they were unhealthy and how they affected me. And I said, it's up to me to draw the line. It's up to me to break this cycle. If I carry on like that, then that is going to carry on through the next generation, and my generation, my cousin as well. We are stopping it. We are recognising it. We're talking about it. We're not blaming anybody for it, but we're saying, this is it. This is where we're going to do things differently. And this is what I feel as well, because I feel there's this real sort of, it's almost like I can feel all of your bottom chakras coming into force. So this is your security, okay? This is the reds there for your security, your root chakra. So you feel grounded within yourself. Like I say, many of you might be connecting with spirit, meditating, stuff like that. This will give you grounding as well. Get some shungite. Shungite, I feel, and hematite are really good grounding stones as well. And this is it. It's almost like I feel there could be travel linked with this as well. There could be a bit confusion, but there's almost like it's going in search of something, I think. Okay, and I mean these cards are amazing. There's you're needing to bring the balance back in. You're needing to bring the balance back in for you as well. And this means letting this tower fall. And when that tower falls, it's not pleasant. It's not nice. But it's a necessary clearing. It's the universe has waited so long for you to make the changes that it comes and does them yourself. Okay, but when that tower falls, the thing that you thought was keeping you secure, when that falls away, that is when your real security will come in. That is when you will have the harmony, when you will have real security, where you will have the proper, the roots, the knowing what it is you want. But first you must see through the illusions, okay? There's the birth of something here. There's a brand new beginning for you. You know it. That's what they're saying. You know it. You're getting the High Priestess there. You're getting the Nine of Pentacles. And this is almost like, you know what? I'm ready. I was born for this. That's it. What was it? Joan of Arc, right? Okay. Joan of Arc was burnt at the stake, okay, for her beliefs. And she said, as she was standing in the fire, she said, I am not afraid. I was born to do this, you know, and this is what I feel is coming in with this. The second you do that, it's almost like it breaks this old spell, okay? And this is when you can revisit the past, you can look at it, you can see what you've learned from it, but you know that you are going forward. So the emotions here, I really feel this month is almost like you really understand your emotions. You really sort of, right, okay, this is it. That all makes sense, you know. And that is when, like I say, Eight of Cups, you know, you need to go in search of what will give you this fulfillment as well. You know, this is, like I say, this is a beautiful reading. I feel, I'm sorry that it's gone on that. I could have carried on with this. I could have carried on and made this almost an hour reading, but this is the last one I'm doing tonight. I'm knackered and I can't do it anymore. Yeah, this is exactly what I feel. It's almost like you're taking your head out the sand, you're seeing, looking around, you know, what's going on, and there you go. We have Kuan Yin card fell out. Now, Kuan Yin is the Mother Buddha, and I love her. I don't know if you can see this, I have her, looks over me while I work. And this card says, enjoy the journey of life, be not afraid of its mysteries, take a chance and follow your heart. You are guided and protected by Kuan Yin, goddess of mercy, compassion and transformation. If you've been wavering about proceeding with something that is dear to you, then this is your confirmation. Just do it. Now, this is really strange what's coming on here. When I lost my mother in a car accident, I don't know, some of you will know that, some of you don't, okay, you know, and I was an only child, and like I say, I had this crazy relationship with Mum. She was amazing, and she was frustrating, you know, it was as mothers are, you know, daughter probably says the same about me. But the night she died, I just wrote, I just channeled, and I'd had a lot to drink, and the next morning I wrote it. I can't even remember, I read it, I can't even remember writing it. And there was a part in it that I'd wrote with Mum's approval. I knew I could do anything, and that was all the case. I didn't worry about getting wrong off teachers, or, do you know what I mean, the policemen, whatever. If Mum said to me it was okay, then it was okay, you know, and that's it. It didn't matter what it was, as long as she said that. And I feel with this, that came in there because, you know, as I've said, there's a lot of family stuff going on with this, you know, lot of family. But what I'm seeing here is Kuan Yin. The first thing I said was the Mother Buddha. So it's almost like you're getting this go ahead, you're getting this approval, you know, and you're getting this like, right, okay, yeah, you can, from the Spirit Mother, you know, from Gaia, from Mother Nature, from Kuan Yin, you know, that is what it is, because this is about mercy, compassion and transformation. So, like I say, I hope that makes sense to you. A very, very heavy one. That's it. I'm done now. You know, they work me a penneth, but I really hope that made sense. Yeah, there's nothing I can say about that other than, you know, it's deep, it's heavy, but it's time to let that heaviness go. You know, it's too much to carry, you know, and the past, do not let the past determine your future. You know, don't give that as a as a Christmas present to yourself. You know, that's it. It's do not let your past determine your future. Okay, so have an absolutely fabulous day. There, look at that. I've just put the cards together, and I always read the bottom card, and there you go. You've got the Ten of Cups. There's happiness coming, you know, happiness, abundance, everything that you want. It's there, you know. But like I say, you've got to let the old beliefs go. But have an absolutely fantastic Christmas. You know, have the new year is going to be very, very different, I feel, you know. So that now.